Welcome to the Weekly Tea. Look, I'm not going to be everybody's cup of tea, and I'm cool with that.
What is up, YouTube? Tyler Secrist here. Thank you so much for tuning into the Weekly Tea. This week we're doing something kind of different. These next couple of videos are going to be very interesting. Everybody knows the market, real estate market's kind of shifting a little bit. There's no crash, nothing like that, but we do have some interesting stuff going on. I thought it would be cool to talk about new construction this week because I had a lot of people hit me up and get anxious, or they had several questions that we're going to talk about today about where the economy is going and should they build right now, should they not, just all kinds of fun stuff. So this week we've got a special guest, my brother, Chase Secrist. He is a partner in, well, I guess if you guys have made it this far, for those who don't know who I am, my name is Tyler Secrist. I'm a real estate agent in Indiana and South Carolina, centrally located in Fort Wayne, Indiana, and Pawleys Island, South Carolina. I'm a top producing agent in the country. I own a private real estate firm in Indiana called Secrist Marketing Group. And you can head here, I don't know if we can see that, we'll put our website there, where we buy, sell, build, create. And the special guest we have today with us is my brother, Chase Secrist. He's a partner, he's our general contractor, he's our designer, he's my project manager, assistant, he's just my second, he's just my guy. He helps me get all this stuff done. But he's joining us today because obviously, he specializes in new construction. He's our general contractor, so he pulls all the permits, and when you get passed on to the building phase with us, he's the one that you're going to be in contact with on a weekly basis, managing your build and making sure it gets constructed the way, it's supposed to be built. So he made some time, and he kind of wanted to hop on here as well and just kind of have a free-flowing, open conversation. We're going to kind of do like podcast type setup. Everybody's kind of on this podcast kick right now, but I'm like, hey man, just come over and let's just talk about some stuff and just kind of see where it goes. So, Chase, you got any thoughts?
Let's do it.
Cool. All right. So I guess we'll kick off the video. I got one question right now. A lot of people hit me up these past couple of weeks. Just very simple question.
Yeah.
Should I build right now? If we had a customer come to us and they said, hey man, should I build right now or should I wait 2-3 years?
It's situational based.
What would you say?
It's situational based. You got to see how you are, where you are in life, if you can even actually do it. The biggest thing is if you don't know like the construction side of things, you have to get educated. That's one of the biggest things, because it may be easy to think about like building a house, but in reality, it's building a house. There's foundation work, groundwork, there's electrical, plumbing, heating. Everything that you don't think of besides the finishes goes into it, and it has to be very dedicated. So, if you look at it, you got to get educated, you got to get understood, and then you have to see where you go. It might be even better just to hold off a little bit, kind of wait to see what it is, and then do it. But for me, personally, I love building. I love doing it.
Yeah, you're spoiled. Chase is
Thanks,
built,
man.
He's built every house he's ever lived in. Every one.
Yeah, I've built 3 houses and then one that we're currently under.
Building investment, townhome. Yeah. So for me, I've built every house I've lived in except one. My first place I did buy existing and I flipped that. But everything else that I've built, I built my dream home when I was 26.
You've been here 2 years.
25, 26. Yep. And then built the beach house 2021.
Yep.
So
fun stuff.
He's biased. He loves new construction. He's built everything he's been in. We've worked really hard to kind of put ourselves in this position. So not everybody is dealt with the same deck of cards or kind of moves in a certain way. What I've been telling people, like, should you build right now? I wholeheartedly agree with that. Like,
yeah.
I feel like in all my videos I talk about getting educated.
Yeah.
First thing is just getting educated. Like, if you've never built a house before, you need to learn what all goes into it. The financing side.
Yeah, I didn't think about that.
Financing side, because there's so many different products available. Is the builder holding the construction loan? Are you going to qualify for a new construction loan?
2 close, 1 close.
You can do a one-time close. You can do a 2-time close. Yeah. You've got all of that.
And then not only that too, sorry to cut you off, but like your living situation, how are you going to handle that kind of transition? Are you going to sell right away, move into a temporary spot? Are you going to, what does that look like? And that's, that's where. And
that's kind of where I was about to go. I was going to say it takes a while when you do start planning and designing, especially with us. Like when you build with us, I feel like we are a little more hands-on, more transparent. We take, I don't want to say we take our time, but we're much more intentional in the design phase because we just execute at such a high level.
Yep.
At Secrist Marketing Group, Chase is a really talented designer and drafter. We're really lucky to have him and for him to be part of the firm. I would say the majority of our competition here locally, they outsource their designing and drafting. Some of the bigger guys have some in-house draftsmen, but even then, all you're getting is a 2D plan. And we'll put what a 2D version is here. Here, we give you 3D renderings. We break our design phase down in 5 steps. And once we get through that 2D phase, Chase actually sits down with you and we start looking at the color palette. That way, people are so visual.
Yes.
When, especially if you've never built before.
Yes.
Like I can honestly say it took me 2 or 3 times to build before, and I would still do things differently.
But you come from a background of like that kind of stuff.
And that's where
more difficult.
That's where I was going with it. So for us to go that extra leg, show you, visually in a 3D software that you get a sense of the ceiling height, you get a sense of what that color looks like with this color, and we can tweak everything so you are really happy. And then once we build it, you don't look at it and you're like, oh dang, I wish we would have done this, or I wish we'd done this, or oh, this wasn't what I thought it was going to be. Can we do something different? And then it costs you more money, and then you're kind of unhappy with it. We take a little bit of extra time through that phase, and we offer more at the same price everybody else does, just because we take great pride in what we do, and we want to provide that. So, anyways, I was gonna say it takes time to design, and you're spot on. Like, do you have a house to sell to build?
Yes.
And if so, like, what are you going to do? Because if you need that equity in your current place to build, and you need to extract that to close on a new construction loan, are you going to go sign a 12-month lease and rent somewhere? Are you going to go live in your parents' basement for 6 to 12 months? Do you have, there's all of that goes into it. But the big thing, and the reason why I think everybody's been asking me this week, it's not about that stuff. It's about the cost of new construction increasing and these interest rates kind of increasing a little bit. What I sound like a broken record, and Sam, you should do that thing where I keep like repeating myself. The longer you wait, the more expensive it's going to get, guys. Because
it's tried and true.
Well, and I've got the data to prove it.
Yep.
Like I've got enough videos. We can go back and I'd love for you to pull a clip from a previous video like a year or two ago, and you can hear me say this, guys. We need 2,500 homes on the market for the market to be normal, and we have 310 homes for sale. Do you understand the supply, demand, low inventory? Can you kind of see what what the issue is now? 2,500 homes should equate to about 6 months worth of supply of housing. Right now, we're down to a week or 2. Because of where inventory levels are, we're gonna continue to see appreciation. Do I think we're gonna still continue to see, we were getting 20% return, plus or minus 5% annually for the last 4 or 5 years. So you could buy something for $320.
Yeah.
Hold on it 6 to 9 months down the road, it's increased in value $40,000. Yep. I don't think we're gonna see much of that anymore. And actually this month, because this next video, we're gonna do a monthly market update, and I'm gonna show you guys, this is the first time the average sale price went down in like 4 years.
That's really interesting.
Not much, but it went down by $6,000.
It's interesting though to look at.
It is interesting. The whole reason I'm saying that is the value of your place.
Yeah, we will never see this in our entire life.
You don't want to say never, you don't want to speak in absolutes, but it's very highly unlikely we're going to see the growth that we've seen the last 4 years again in our lifetime.
This is like that 1% that they say.
Yeah, it's possible, but it's normal to only get 3 to 5% of increase in value, which the old tried and true where people are like, well, make sure when you buy a house or you build a house, you're going to be there for a while, because it typically takes 3 to 5 years before your investment's protected. So to answer the question, should you build right now? It's a double-edged sword. It's contextual and specific to you.
Yep.
If you're educated, you're in a position, and you know you're going to be there for a while, I would say absolutely. I would say absolutely.
Agree.
If you can't afford it, if you're not educated, that's where I would start, guys. I would start getting with your trusted real estate professional. Call me, and I can get you with my preferred lender, who also, both my preferred lenders specialize in new construction. But you get the real estate side, the new construction side, and the lending side. And I like to just, like literally what we're doing here, I like to just spot up, and I just want to teach you guys what's available to you, because it's very fulfilling to me to get a customer or a client who has a vision, and I know how to bring that to life. And I think I have the best job in the world, because I get to help people find housing and build housing. It's fun.
Well, you've seen it, like not only through your personal life, but through your professional life. You've seen literally almost every single piece of the pie. So you can be like, okay, well, this guy's in this category. This is the result. I need to be careful of this. And then it shows like, okay, here we go.
And I think that's why my real estate side
I agree.
Is so successful, because we've got so much experience. Because any hurdle, any issue, we've gone through it.
Yep.
And the cool thing too is, the more homes we build, you and I are getting super in tune with all these new products becoming available. And unfortunately, a lot of, I would say, our competition here, they're so big, they just kind of want to turn you through the system. They don't want to spend the time to innovate.
That's a good way to put it.
And for me, if I know you want a particular look, we're gonna make it happen. There's a will, there's a way.
Yeah.
You may have to compromise on product, but if I can say, if you don't care, and you just want it to look a certain way, we can make it happen.
Yeah.
And I wanna be in that business, not, nope, these are the standards, you get to pick from here. Dude, to hell with it.
You gotta change it, because this is your house. This is what you're gonna be living in. You gotta be happy with it. You don't want to go into your brand new house. Well, I wish I would have did this, but it wasn't
X available. It was a $5,000 increase. Yeah, but did you know you could have saved money, because you could have gone to this material, got the look you want, and then, oh, by the way, that could have freed up money to go upgrade that other thing you wanted.
May not have felt the same way, but if you're just after the looks, or you're just after that,
the color,
that wow factor. Yeah,
it's possible.
100%.
Yeah, it's possible. So that's a good.
Another thing I want to add too is more or less the material shortage. Everyone's talking about material shortage. That's why I should or should not build or whatnot. We're always going to have a shortage. We're always going to have some kind of issue with kind of materials getting in or out or whatever. Everyone's building right now.
Well, I would agree it's difficult to source materials just in general.
Yeah.
In any climate.
Yeah. Well, that adds the value of these materials that once were a certain amount.
When demand's high, 100%. But I mean, and let the viewers know, the windows are actually back on schedule.
Surprisingly, yeah.
So I mean, we can get our window packages within 8 weeks now.
Yep.
Depending on, even in some window packages even sooner, depending on the model of the window. Garage doors are still out, they're still out.
Yeah, quite a far.
Which sucks, but
there's temporary solutions for that, so it's not a big deal. I mean, that's a small, minute thing, but the windows are a big thing. The exterior doors are a big thing. Those types of materials are now coming back to what
they're coming back. Yeah, it's not that.
Because once you get it closed in, then you can kind of shut it up and you're good to go. But once those are in, you're fine. You can wait on the other stuff. So.
Agreed. The other thing I want to get your opinion on, because you're going through this right now and you're battling it. Talk to people about land.
Oh.
Because you can't build a house without having land.
Yeah.
And what a lot of people don't realize, whether you build in a subdivision or you build in the country, sometimes your land will actually determine what type of house you can build.
Yeah. It's environmental.
No, 100%. It is, because if you buy a piece of ground that doesn't suit a basement and you want a basement, you can't build a house. Or if you buy a piece of ground that's got some really sandy soil that needs pilings, well, you need to know that, because when you go to design your house, you've got to work
You don't want to put a slab on there and it breaks in a year or two because of the soil.
Well, and we also got to talk about the setbacks and the frontages.
Yeah.
You know, if you want a really wide house and you buy a narrow lot, that's not going to work. You know, and sometimes bigger lots, I mean, they are more expensive. So I always talk to my customers when they want to build with, like when they actually get through the process, first I get them educated, get them qualified, because that's the other thing too is, you got to figure out all that stuff on the front end. A lot of people like to think about the house first.
Yeah.
Which is great. Like you should have a vision, you should have ideas, you should have goals, what have you. But you also,
a battle.
But you got to be realistic about what that costs. And I pride ourselves on if you give me a vision, we may not be able to do exactly what you want, because what you want might be $1 million house.
Yeah.
But I can get you something. If you tell me the key points of what you want, we can bring it to life, and you can be proud of it. And but anyways, I talk to people about land.
Yeah.
You've got to get your ground first. The other reason why you got to get your ground first is it costs money to buy land. And if you have a budget, or if you're trying to build under a certain monetary value, you're going to need to know what's left for the house.
Yeah.
So talk about how difficult it is to find land right now, because there's so much demand and there's so much little supply of land. These prices are getting really, really expensive. And you and I talk about it all the time.
It's not 2005 anymore.
It's not even 2014, 15, 16 anymore.
You can't get deals on land. The price is what it is because everything else around it sold for what it is, and go from there. You can't build land. You can maybe develop it, but then that's a whole other.
I think it was Mark Twain that said, "Buy land. God doesn't make any more of it."
Yeah, that's a good
And I mean, it's tried and true. Land is a great investment. There's only so much of it available. It's tangible.
It's scarce right now, though. So
it is scarce, and a lot of people want. The other thing too is local government. Local government is making it more difficult to build in the country.
Agreed.
And I've made videos about this topic.
Yeah.
I could probably drop that link into the description, and I can show you more about that. But the thing is, and what frustrates me is, someone will say, I want to be in a certain school district and I want, 4 to 5 acres or whatever. It's like, man, that's what everybody wants. And when one does get listed, they're like, oh, that's way too expensive. I'm not going to buy that. And then it sells within a day or two, and it's like, someone else is going to buy it, and
because other people.
what's that saying in real estate? Location, location, location.
What he said.
So what I tell people who are going through that, you got to pony up. You want to build, understand it's going to cost you money. You're probably going to go over your budget. And I would not build, or I would focus on the ground first, because a good lot, a good piece of ground is everything in my eyes. You get a great lot or a great piece of ground, the value in that is, when you talk about resale.
Yeah.
And I have a lot of experience in that. I'm on a great piece of ground that I'll never be able to find, which makes it so hard to, ever sell my primary house here, because I know the likelihood of me ever getting a piece of ground like I have here in Fort Wayne.
Especially with the location that you have.
Oh my gosh, man, I'll never.
No.
And if I do, it'll be
it'd be 10x.
probably 10x what I paid. Yeah.
100%.
No BS. So
the biggest thing is when you're looking at land, it's more or less the 2 categories. You want to be in a subdivision, or you want to be out in the country, because those are both totally different aspects.
I agree.
One is more or less you're developing the land yourself. You're bringing all your utilities, you're bringing all of your gravel, everything to that property, versus a developed property. You already have a street there. You already have everything there. Your water, sewage, all that stuff's there. You don't have to worry about it, but that's included in the price. So if you buy a property, that's X amount that you still have to develop. You have to take that into consideration for the other stuff that is for a subdivision lot. So.
No, I completely agree.
But then doing your homework on the land, doing your homework on.
Well, and it's working with people who know what all entails with that too, because not every builder. I've noticed in my experience on the sales side, because I take my clients to our competition. It's a good part of my business. It's about 30% of my business right now. I've noticed some builders, they rely really, really heavy on their trade partners. And it's to the point to where, you and I have relationships with some of those trade partners.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
And between me and the trade partners, some of them have vented to me on the backside about, man, these guys as project managers aren't very good, because they're not very intuitive. They're not showing up to the job sites. They didn't know X, Y, Z. And it caused problems for the customer. Yeah. So the other thing too is make sure when you are meeting with builders, and that's the other thing too, guys, is whether you guys hit me up to help you advise that, just get with an agent who specializes in new construction, because they're going to know off the bat who knows what they're doing. Yeah. Because there are a lot of guys in this space that don't have the best systems or processes. Just get with someone who really knows their stuff, someone who's really
passionate about it.
And someone who can just kind of has a can-do, yes attitude.
It's a big investment for somebody.
It really is. It really is. The other thing too is, when people ask me, should I build right now? You can't predict the future.
Yeah.
So I'll piggyback on what you said, because I agree with you. It really depends on where you're at in your life.
Yep.
You know, but the other side of that is, and some of my clients recently have been really successful at it. There's kind of like an investment strategy in new construction.
Okay.
Getting into new developments early. So a new hot hot new development in a new area.
Yep.
Like that would be the one case where I would feel
guy.
comfortable telling or advising one of my clients, hey, you know what? It would be smart to build, knowing you're going to be there for a short period of time, but maybe it's not going to have 100% of what we want. It might have 70 to 80%, but it's good enough for these next 3 to 5 years to plan our dream home that we're going to be in for a decade or two, or kind of put us as a stepping stone there. I've helped a lot of clients recently do that because of, we've got a lot of new development, and then B, the market has been appreciating. So a lot of those guys have won big time on that, and you actually took advantage of that.
Getting in early.
It's a thing. Like I feel like it's an investment strategy that's not talked about enough.
Yeah.
Because even when market conditions are not appreciating like we've seen, that is still an investment vehicle.
Which is what we did. 100%.
Yeah, but it's still an investment vehicle.
Yeah.
So what I mean by that, guys, is if you build a new house, or say you buy a spec home in a really hot area in the early stages of a new development, you're going to get exit pricing in that development because of when the appraiser does comps, when you go to sell your place, you're restrained to the subdivision that you're in. So if you're one of the first ones, you know, if you're one of the, say you're number 5 in this development, say you're on the main drag, or you're on one of the streets that run, you know, left to right when you pull in or something, and there's 67 lots in this development. If you do that and you hold on to it for, you know, maybe 18 to 42 months,
And all 67 lots come up.
either all 67 lots get built. The whole thing doesn't have to be fully built. It could be halfway done. Every house in there is going to slightly get more expensive, more expensive, more expensive, more expensive. And you're going to look back and be like, dang, I've got 30, 40, 50, 60, 70. Depending on how long you stay, I've had some people stay for 10 years and they had $120,000 of equity, you know? And so that's a thing.
Yeah.
But what I was trying to say was you can't predict the future.
No.
But we can look back on previous data. We can look back at history, and you can keep yourself in a position of strength, in my opinion. I just think it's really important to know what you want or have a goal. If you can focus on that, like there are options.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There really is, truthfully. You got to figure it out.
Oh, here we go. Here's a good question. A myth, or we can share with people. Is it cheaper to build a house or buy an existing house?
Per square foot?
It's just a simple question.
I mean, I think it's more expensive to build a new house because everything's new.
Obviously.
Yeah.
Yeah. A lot of people. A lot of people
That's the
don't.
most obvious answer, but people don't understand.
A lot of people don't have that common sense. It is. You're going to get more bang for your buck.
Yes.
Spec-wise,
Yes.
size-wise, buying existing than building. It's no different than you go to look at cars. You go to a car dealership.
Yeah.
Shout out to my guys at Kelly Chevrolet, Chris, Connor. Shout out to you guys. Oh, and Bryce over at Shepherd's.
Oh yeah, you got to get the plug.
Yeah, you guys are great. But you hit up our guys, and you're looking for a new car or a used car. All of the newer cars are going to be more expensive than the used vehicles. They just are. Yeah. Housing is no different. You're going to pay premium price per square. You're going to pay top dollar on building. Lots are getting more expensive. The materials are getting more expensive. So I would be mindful of that, because
it comes down to your situation. It might be more advisable to do an existing house, park it, like you said, with the investment property, park it for 3 to 5 years. That 3 to 5 years may not seem like a lot, but I mean, the end goal. If you know the end goal, that's where it will propel you into that idea.
That's why I'm always
you can have all this extra time to not only research how to build, but you can also research the products, the look, the ideas. So when you come to the table in 5 years,
you can vet local builders. You can go to the open houses.
That's a great idea.
You can look at the job sites, see who takes pride, and you can do all that fun stuff.
While you're still having that investment propel you into that next step.
It's not even about the investment though. Like for me, it's just like, what do you want? Do you need a 4-bedroom, 3-bath house? Can you afford that new? It's black and white.
In the location that you're wanting, in the box that you're wanting.
Okay, then I would explore that. Yeah. If you're not, okay, well, if that's what you want to do someday, understand that that's your goal, and then whatever you decide to do from that point on,
Distracted.
I would advise you to like make sure you're stepping in that direction.
Yeah,
because
yeah.
if you don't stop and you focus, eventually you will get there.
Yeah.
You know, what do you need in the meantime? You know,
Yeah.
there are plenty of used 4-bed, 3-bath houses out there that are great homes that are 4 or 5 years old. There's some that are 20 years old. There are some downtown that are 100 years old that have been remodeled that, you know, are in great shape. It really just, there's no right answer.
No.
I genuinely feel like it just depends on what you want out of life and are you able and capable. And before you commit, I would just spend time.
Yeah, 2 things, financially and emotional. Those are the 2 things that are always going to cohere for everything.
Yeah, and housing, the other thing too with housing is it's one of the very rare things in my opinion that it doesn't have to make sense financially. Because some people
True.
find fulfillment and
Yeah.
joy in their house,
Yeah.
you know? So it's okay for the numbers to not make sense in some cases.
That's a really good point, Tyler.
I just, you
No.
know, if
Coming from experience, 100%.
that's the truth.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know how else to explain, and that's just how I feel.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's that motivation of life. It's what you want out of it. It's how you can figure it out. And
Well,
what
it's-
do you need to do to get there? There's steps.
It's what fulfills you, and
Yeah. Brings you up every day.
yeah, because some people may want to be a homebody.
Yeah.
And they want the 9s, and they may want to spend, you know, more time here. Well, if that,
Well, I mean, in reality, I think we spend like what 60 to 80% of our life in a home, whether it's sleeping, eating, just
No, I've never
enjoying your
seen-
time.
I've never
Have you
seen that
this stat?
statistic,
I'll have to
no.
look it up.
I definitely don't abide by that.
No.
I'm always,
You're getting near that 1% or that 5% or whatnot.
I'm never home.
No.
Where's Tyler? Working, lifting, or eating,
Or driving.
right? Or on the phone.
Yeah.
But no, yeah, I agree with that. It's an interesting point. I do want to talk about this though, the average cost to build a house right now. You probably don't know what this is. The average cost to build a house right now it's like $407,000 some odd change here in Allen County. That's crazy.
You said 470?
407 and some change.
Yeah.
That's a lot of money.
Yeah.
The average household income in Allen County, I think, is like 52 grand. Actually, why don't I look it up really quick? Average household income, Fort Wayne.
Yeah, so it's like, how are you supposed to afford that?
The average household income in Fort Wayne is $65,377. Wow, that's a lot higher than I thought it was going to be. It used to be like 52 and some
Yeah, but
change.
again, still, you're almost at a $500,000 house
Anyways, yeah.
on average.
Well, $500,000 isn't $500,000 anymore.
True.
Neither is a million.
Yeah, true.
But anyways, what I was saying was, so if the average household income is $65,000 and the average cost to, I don't know what a payment is on that after putting 20% down, but it's a lot of money.
Yeah, let's
Yeah.
say it's $2,500, $2,000.
It's a lot of money. I would say the baseline, like where I'm seeing, I always base the cost of new construction on like starter homes.
Yeah.
There's always, like we have some what I would call track builders or more like cookie cutter builders here.
Because you can always upgrade from there. So you go to your lowest or whatnot. Your
Well,
most
you look
simplest.
at what they're all building and selling them for because they're all in line. It's like going to the grocery store and looking at great value noodles and looking at Chef Boyardee.
That's a great example.
No, do you know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? And they're all at the same price. You know, one might be a little bit less, but
Different brand, but yeah.
this one's got more ingredients. This one's got less. You know what I'm saying? But the pricing's always, you know, spot on. And right now, I'm seeing those 3.2 starters range anywhere from like $290 to like $315. So you get like a 12 to 1,500 square foot 3.2 in a decent area between
That's
$290 and
comparable.
$3. And I mean, that's a lot of money for that because here we're used to seeing that product around $150, $180.
Yeah, true. That's
know?
what we did at the very first time.
My first house, my first place, it was
we were balling on a budget, dude.
balling on a budget and
Balling hard.
we were strategic though.
Yeah. And you can be though. On those lower ends, you can be extremely strategic.
Oh no, I agree.
That's the difference. Is you don't have to have this huge conglomerate house or whatever. You just have to be mindful.
In my
of your
experience, my customers, some value space more than finishes. Others value finishes more than space. There's no right answer.
I wonder what the statistic on that is. Like, is it 60% on one way versus the other?
We need to build more houses so we can look at that data and then we'll know. But
hit us up.
But yeah, the average cost right now is $407 and some change. And at that price, what I would consider an average house, you know, it's probably, you know, I would say standard finishes across the board. Maybe a few upgrades in the kitchen and the master. But in an area where the average household income is $65,000 a year, and then the average total sale price is $261.
Yeah, it's
You know,
tough to
it's another what is that, $150,000 more to build new. So I think you just got to ask yourself, do I want less size or less finishes for new? You know, it's just, there's no right answer.
No.
It's
Situation based.
It's what's important to you. But but it's important to be in touch with reality.
Yeah.
Because your dad's gonna say, oh no, you can build that for $225.
2005, 2010.
Back in my day,
yeah.
that's bullshit.
2x4s were $6.
They're
What?
They're greedy. It's like, no, bro, OSB's fucking $32 a sheet right now.
Yeah.
Like,
Which we got to check that.
it's not $650 anymore,
No,
Uncle
no.
John.
No.
It's $33. You know,
a lot of money.
I think it's really like $22 now because it came back down, but still a lot of money.
It's better though.
Yeah, it's still a lot of money.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I think that's interesting. What else? Anything else you want to share about new construction with the audience? The 120 people that watch this?
Yeah. The biggest thing is
Oh, real quick. If you guys have made it this far, like you watched this whole thing, and you don't like or, subscribe or like share it, stop what you're doing, go like it, drop a comment.
Just
like,
a quick pause.
Man, help us out, man. Like, we've been doing these videos for a year, and we've only got like 122 subscribers. If I didn't get people, like if I didn't meet new people doing this, and like getting deals, we would have stopped a long time ago. But like, fuck.
Been like at the beginning of YouTube.
Just like the video.
You know,
Anyways,
shit.
since you're our GC and our designer, let's talk a little bit about the drafting side.
Yeah, the biggest thing is
Real quick, because I think this will help you communicate this, because we're still kind of navigating this and don't know the best way
Agreed.
to separate the tire kickers. And I mean that kindly.
Well, we talked about that earlier.
But also like encouraging, you reaching out and getting educated. What should people do? Because what most people come to me is, hey, how much does it cost to build a house? And it's like, dude.
Yeah. You're asking a blank question.
I've got 200 questions that need to get answered first before I can give you like a rough figure. Yeah. And I don't even want to give you that rough figure because I won't know until we send it to our vendors, we send it to our trade.
People always hold you to that.
We send it to our trade partners.
That's always bad because then it's like, oh well.
But you said this, right?
Exactly.
And it's like, so I don't want to ever put that out there because like I can't do that until we get through.
Unless you have the data, I'll give you that. Unless you have the data, if you have a good portfolio of all these houses and you see the trend, yeah, sure, you can.
Which we do, we can give you a range.
We
can give you a range, but what upsets me is when you communicate that to the customer, it's like they almost don't believe you.
Yeah.
Like there's no way, and it's like no. And you know what's funny is every time we get through it, it's like spot on.
Yeah. And I've had a lot of trade partners actually express that to me. They're like, oh, well, this is so much. I could have did it for this much money. And then he's like, here, give me a pen. Let me write it down. And he goes down, boom, 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 boom. And he's like, okay, let's do it. Yeah, it's plain and simple. Like when you start breaking it down, but it's hard because now you have to take that time to break that down for them just for them to see. So it's like, to get past that, I don't know, like you said, I don't know that question. I don't know that answer.
It's getting educated.
Yeah, figure out of how much actually goes into
what I tell the customers that we meet with, I say, get online. Get online.
You have it right here.
I'll send you some stuff.
Yeah.
I'll ask some basic questions. What size home? How many bedrooms?
Yeah.
How many bathrooms? What kind of level of finishes?
You have a computer.
I ask what would you upgrade? And then I'll have them get online and hey, send me some listings that you like.
Yeah.
And then I'll be like, do you see the price on those?
Yeah.
That's roughly where you're going to be.
Yeah.
And they're like, yeah, but I want that, but I want it under 350. Well, you can't have that.
You're going to have to compromise.
We're going to
if that's what you want to go.
We're going to have to get you something existing.
Yep.
Or you're going to have to take this away. You're going to have to take this away. You're going to have to be in this area. And for some reason, some people just can't, connect the dots, which is why I'm so big on education, because I feel like that kind of squashes everything. I just wish it took.
Yeah.
I wish. Then that old expression, you tell people the stove's hot, some people still have to.
Dude, he's got great analogies. He's spitting them out.
Some people still have to touch it. It's
yes.
like,
I
told you, man.
Yeah.
Like, don't touch it.
Yeah, and they're going to burn again.
And then they burn themselves.
I mean, on that aspect, as far as the design side, once you get past that whole tire kicker thing and whatnot, the biggest thing is the 3Ds. Like I know, at least in my experience and what I've been doing with my clients is constant communication. I send them text messages. I give them screenshots of what I'm working on, how they like it. It helps in the upfront to get your ideas going and flowing, and then it just makes it a much better product when it comes to. Instead of going through 10 different revisions on these plans that you get from other builders or whatnot, we can do it on the fly. and then you have 1 or 2 versions going into your final, and you know exactly what we did. And you also have different ideas from previous. Be like, okay, well, I like that old one. Let's bring that back in. So on the design side, once you get past that, that's where the 3Ds and the ideas and the understanding of building really comes into play.
Which just adds a visual element to help.
Yeah, but it's constant communication. It's being engaged. It's being very proactive, and just being upfront.
Yeah.
Transparency is huge.
Well,
huge.
Cool. Well, I appreciate you doing a little pod with me.
If you need any drafting services, hey.
Yeah, they get enough sales pitches out of me.
Hey.
No, seriously, I appreciate you hopping on because I wanted to get you more on the channel and
it was fun.
Get you with the audience a little bit more. Just
and new construction is obviously my realm. So.
Yeah, well, I want people to get to know you a little bit more, and we're really excited to blow this thing up and start taking on retail builds. And so if you guys have made it this far to the video, we really appreciate you tuning in. Like always, if you made it this far, like, share, comment, subscribe. We'll see you guys next week.
Best for the future, I'm gonna get it again. That's how much the